Claudia,
Yeah.
can you explain to me what is equity crowdfunding?
Oh, equity crowdfunding, right? Is actually based on the first reward-based crowdfunding, where they offer individuals to invest in a company, where in return they would have like a direct stake in that company.
Oh, is it like entrepreneurs offer a slice of their company's equity for a set period of time?
Ah, yes. Then the registered investor can take up the investment block which they feel comfortable with. Then, once this process is complete between both of them, the investor becomes a shareholder of the company with all the associated rights and benefits.
Oh, why this exists?
Oh, the reason why ECF exists is to efficiently connect businesses that are trying to raise funds and lenders who are looking for promising new startups and SME to lend money to them. So, all around the world, the equity crowdfunding is actually regulated by their securities regulators. In Malaysia, the Securities Commission Malaysia is the one who regulates our ECF. So this SC, they only allow approved platforms to conduct the ECF. For example, in Malaysia, the approved ones are like Eureka, Pitch In, and then also Crowd Plus, and also Crowdfunding, something like that lah. And then they also have rules and guidelines for these platforms to comply with. You can search it online lah. Yeah.
You know, equity crowdfunding is quite interesting. But then, how do they make profit?
That's a very interesting question also. But about what I read from an article last week, I think there are about 5 methods how crowdfunding make profit. I think the first one is through success fee, where a percentage of total funds collected after a project hits the target and raises necessary amount of money, then essentially hitting its goal. And secondly, some platforms, but not all, they charge a monthly processing fee to start as many campaigns as their customer would like. That is, I think, known as membership fee. Third method is margin and loan processing fee, where it is done by peer-to-peer lending, where bridging the gap between lenders and borrowers can generate impressive revenues, which is a lot of money based on what I read. And then the fourth method, I think, is portion of future sales. And the last method, let me see. It's promotion and ad. Not all crowdfunding company does that, but some do provide that service to their customers.
What are the lists of the crowdfunding companies in Malaysia then?
List of companies you are seeing, right? I think there are about 10 of them. Then, first is Lead Capital. Then they have Ataplas, they have Crowdu Malaysia, they have Actis Ventures, and I think this one is called Eureka C. Then another one would be FBM Crowdtech. One is Funnel Technologies, MyStart, Pitch Platforms, and the last one is, I think it's called CrowdPlus.
Then how much money do they collect and disperse under this scheme?
Okay, good question. Let me Google it for you because I want to find out also about it. Let me go to equity pitching first. Okay, so they said here that the minimum amount per investment is 5,000 ringgit and up to a maximum of 500,000 investment per annum in total. It's quite a lot of money, right? Yes.
Claudia, you know, I was talking to Kara just now,
Yeah.
and we were talking about equity crowdfunding. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, briefly.
Okay, so I was talking to Kara just now, and she explained about the equity crowdfunding in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So I did some research about the success and failure in equity crowdfunding in the world. Just to briefly understand it. And then it talks about only two countries which is German and United Kingdom, because it has the largest equity crowdfunding markets worldwide.
Oh.
Yeah. So the market development in Germany and United Kingdom. So over the period of 4.5 years, which is from the 1st September 2011 until the 31st December of 2015, there's 303 campaigns. You know what happened after that? 13 of these portals, they closed down their businesses. Yes. I'll explain it further later. So, 2 of the portals merged with the operations in Austrian portal, which is another country called Conda. Furthermore, 303 of the crowdfunding campaigns that started, only 210 were successful. Yes. And 54 did not reach their funding goals and thus did not receive any capital. And for the 39, no informations were available publicly in their portal website.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know. And 39 of these dark campaigns were running on Deutsche Microinvest, which appears to be the least transparent portal on German market. And overall, the successful campaigns in Germany received 52 million euros. Yeah. When contrasting the German market volumes with the 2 leading equity crowdfunding in UK, Crowdcube and Seedrs, it turns out that German market developed slightly faster until the fourth quarter of 2013. From the point onwards, however, the equity crowdfunding market in UK outpaced the German market substantially. And then when it comes to insolvencies and liquidation, there's a term called the adverse selection. So it's the one problem that investors confront when it comes to making this investment. It says that entrepreneurs may change their behavior and exercise with less effort than previously promised. So in venture capital fund, usually in order to solve this problem, this moral hazard problem, they will strike tailor-made contract that include covenants and stage finance provisions. But this is not available for equity crowdfunding. So then the German portal called Compensito introduced a particular form of staging whereby 2/3 of the funds collected during an equity crowdfunding campaigns are paid out directly to the startup and 1/3 is held back, a period of up to 6 months. After this period, crowd votes as to whether to give the funds to the startups or to give it back to the investor. This is good, because the Munich-based venture called the Vibe Right, for example, they sought to develop a marketable pen that spells Czech handwriting, collected around 560,250 euro on 27th of September 2014. But in early October 2014, however, the National Health Insurance already filed for the company's insolvency.
Oh.
Yeah. So if such stage finance mechanism, which I have previously mentioned, are implemented, the investor would have reduced the loss by 186,750 euro. So for venture capital and business angel funding, which is the previous ways of funding for startups, they use this ECF as a screening mechanism to identify available projects. So by investing small amounts of money, investors reveal their private information about project success. Moreover, many of the investors also constitute potential customers based on the crowdfunding to see if it will, like Kickstarter, just to see if it will be successful or otherwise. So they learn more about the product demands and the prospect of funding, a second round perhaps. In UK and also German, they have different ways whether the venture capital will enter the projects in the beginning or towards the end of the ECF. Based on this research, it says that for UK, mostly the venture capitals will invest first before they ask for the ECF. Whereas for German, it's otherwise. It's after they see that there's a potential in the projects that they will invest.
True.
So, going back to the first time when I talk about market developments in Germany and UK, remember that? You see that the charts here, you see that the charts are increasing for UK, but for German, it's very volatile. It's due to that, to when does the venture capital enter the projects, either in the beginning of ECF or towards the end. Yeah.
So what's your opinion regarding ECF then?
In my opinion, I feel like if you're talking about Malaysian market, it's almost similar to German. It's on the articles I've read before, the edge market. So based on what it says here, I can't really form much without just few research. But they did a well research here. It says that many German equity crowdfunding portals have now installed a special purpose vehicles of established pooling contracts, which encourage the coexistence of crowd investors and also venture capital.
Here's how crowdfunding works in a nutshell. Let's say an independent filmmaker wants to shoot a new movie, or an aspiring inventor has an idea for a new product. Now, they both need capital to get their projects off the ground, but where can they turn? Historically, they've had limited options. They can get a loan from the bank, or they can borrow money from their friends or family. But now they have a new option, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is an emerging trend where many individuals each make a small financial contribution toward a project. And together, these contributions add up to enough money to get a new project off the ground. Now, there's two main types of crowdfunding. There's rewards-based crowdfunding, and there's equity crowdfunding. Let's look at rewards-based first. Rewards-based crowdfunding allows donors like you to contribute capital to projects of your choice, and in return, you'll receive a reward. For example, if the project is a documentary film, the reward might be free tickets to the first screening. If the project is a video game, you might receive a free copy of the game. Two of the most popular rewards-based crowdfunding sites are Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Now, to be clear, if you donate to a rewards-based project and the project turns into a huge financial success, you're not going to receive any of the profits, not a dime. However, there's a new form of crowdfunding that fixes this problem. It's called equity crowdfunding. Equity crowdfunding is similar to rewards-based crowdfunding, but there's one major difference. With equity crowdfunding, when you make an investment, you'll receive an actual ownership stake in the business you back. So if you invest in a startup project and it turns into the next Google or the next Facebook, you're going to receive your share of the profits. And those profits can be substantial. As just one example, when Facebook went public, its first investor earned 2,000 times his money. More recently, a robotics startup called Rewalk raised capital using equity crowdfunding. 14 months later, Rewalk went public on the NASDAQ, and its early backers made a 500% return. And these backers are regular investors, just like you. But to be clear, these types of returns aren't going to happen every day. And with the potential for higher returns comes higher risk. So before you invest in an equity crowdfunding site, take the time to prepare yourself. Learn about the risks of early stage investing. Do research on each startup you're thinking of investing in. And if you do invest, only invest a small amount of your total capital. And here's something else to keep in mind. At the moment, equity crowdfunding is only accessible to what's called accredited investors. An accredited investor has a net worth of at least $1 million or earns at least $200,000 per year. But if you're not yet accredited, don't worry, because equity crowdfunding is about to become accessible to everyone. You see, a new set of laws is about to pass that will allow all investors to invest in startups. It's called the Jobs Act, and we believe it will completely change how America invests.